You go past vineyards. It was something.
Do they have food on the train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we who have ridden trains in different countries and in different parts of the US, I mean, this is really a timid ride.
Uh-huh.
Really a timid ride. 1 hour, one stop, people got off to look at flowers, and that was it. But Catherine, my wife was more excited than I was this time. But we've been to the ones where they take you on big,
Running out of battery.
right, from Michigan to Indiana and back.
Oh.
That was about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I looked at my pictures I've taken before, and wouldn't you know it, 6 years ago we had gone to Jamestown. And I took photographs of stopping Yosemite and other places along the way to get to Jamestown. And it was a hotter time at that time. And so today was, and yesterday were just right for us ex-musicians. Oh my Lord. Oh, I did bring some what do you call it? Sarsaparilla. They featured it in their bookshop, gift shop. Sarsaparilla made there, and so I brought 3 bottles home, and we shall see, you know. But the other bad thing was I wanted to stop in Turlock. I don't know if you've ever tried that, but I had a teacher back at Merritt College in 1967, 68, 69. He was teaching astronomy and other things. And we'd all gone, the 3 of us, he and 2 other astronomy people, we drove down to Palomar University, Palomar Observatory, and there was a big astronomy convention. And being a slightly older chap, I was invited along. And that was a long, long time ago, what, 52 years ago? And so I wanted to look him up. And my gosh, I called the Greek church in Modesto and hit the right lady who said, well, here is his wife, and et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, great, gung-ho. I know he had a wonderful baritone voice. He was a deacon in the Greek Orthodox Church. And that was many years ago. And, he retired from teaching. And well, the sad thing is, all due to our virus, we cannot get into the rest home where he's at. Only his wife. His brother can't get in to see him, right? And we wanted to really enliven his experience. I couldn't do that. So I had to come home sort of half busted because we didn't get to visit the Turlock rest home where he's at. Chris Gellis, good teacher. Hello, Sally Schaefer, another musician's wife. She's married to a guy who can really play piano. I see Trudy there. Kathy. Trudy resembles someone we know.
We're running out of power.
Yeah. Oh, hey, at that National Hotel where we had that wonderful hamburger. Well, once I was sitting next to 2 people who said they were also choral singers in the Stockton chorus, and how the wife teaches, and they'd asked to go back to teaching. And I threw it out. I said, Arnold here would have loved to have had a Bosendorfer. And people who don't play piano don't know what a Bosendorfer is, but she did. She picked up right away and went, "Ooh la la! If you could have had a Bosendorfer, would I have been more serious about music? Perhaps." But I haven't run across anybody who has the wherewithal of Ming, our conductor. You guys, we have a very unusual person here. You would have had to probably gone to music school like I did. Maybe not. I was in a band several times, the Army Chorus, a band in Detroit. You'd have to have all these things behind you to know when somebody wonderful comes along. That's our buddy Ming. And here he's got 3 children. God. He's just starting off. Emmy, I see Emmy. You people. Oh, we could have chosen Ming. It could have been Horowitz, right? No. How about the other fellow? I got his record here. Gee. See, not Bernstein. Oh, we're losing a lot this whole year with the pandemic. I don't know if you people have noticed, but there's been a real lowering. Echelon of music has gone lower and lower.
Welcome back to BCCO. It is Monday at 7:02 on
Oh.
April 12th. We are a little bit late starting because,
I'm going to mute out.
like we talked about last week and the week before that, we are starting to incorporate Jack Trip into our rehearsals. And so slowly, as we get more people incorporated with Jack Trip, this is a technology that allows us to be able to sing together in real time over the internet. And then coupled with Zoom, allow us to be able to see and hear as we rehearse and practice together. And so I think it's going to be a really fun time. Again, we are working on 2 amazing pieces, On You Stay and Ballad to the Moon. And so last week was more of an introduction to these 2 pieces, and tonight we're going to be diving into them a little bit more. But of course, welcome to this Monday. As a special treat, next week we have Sam Wu, who is a composer that we've commissioned for a work that was supposed to premiere this year, but of course, because of COVID, was delayed until next year. So you get to have a sneak peek and first look at the work that he has composed. And then just like all the other pieces that we've been exploring this semester, how do we look at new works for the first time? How do we hear what we're always looking for in new music, which is what is the composer saying, but also what is the composer's language? What is their musical voice? And so as we dive into The Elder, as we dive into the On You Stay of Charlotte Bray, we want to make sure that we always try to explore the depths and the inherent meaning that is in the work. And we're going to apply that in real time to a work that I haven't had much time with, and that we're all going to be seeing new for the first time next week. So that's going to be our plan for the next couple of weeks. What we're going to do is, as always, Julia's going to start us off with a warm-up, and then we're going to dive into Ballad of the Moon and to get an idea, relive this piece. So Julia, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Ming. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It's BCCO Day. Let us begin standing, as we always do. And I cannot stand while I'm in front of this contraption. So if you are not on Jack Trip, if you are able to stand, go ahead and stand. But I will be kind of leading stretches and movement from my seat here. So let's all reach up to the sky. Imagine you're holding a giant beach ball, and as you're reaching and stretching up, I want you to really feel like you're stretching through your torso. We kind of talk about this each week, but as we're stretching up, it's not just your fingers and your arms that are kind of reaching up, but really feel like you're elongating through your side body. At the same time, your shoulders are relaxing down, so your shoulders aren't trying to creep up towards your ears. So you get a nice, good, long, high, tall stretch here. And let's grab one wrist. You can't really see, but I'm grabbing one wrist, and I want you to pull that arm up and over to get a nice, good side stretch. Take a nice deep breath here, and then on the exhale, give a nice, good sigh. So we'll go, oh. Lovely. And let's come back to center. And same thing, hold that beach ball first, and find that length And then grab your other wrist, pull your arm up and over to the other side. Nice, good side stretch. Lean into it. Take a nice deep breath. So lovely. All right, and let's come back up to center. Big beach ball one more time. Bring your arms down into the cactus for a nice good stretch through your chest and your heart space, relaxing your shoulders so that they're also not trying to crunch up towards your ears, but shoulders are relaxed and the shoulder blades are pulling together in the back, so you are opening up your chest space. All right, and let's bring our arms down to the side. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times and forward a couple of times. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and let them drop. Excellent. And let's do a little bit of breathing as a reminder. I am seeing some messages saying there's a small echo and delay. So if you are on Jack Trip, make sure that your Zoom is muted. Your computer speakers are muted and Zoom mics are muted so that there's no extra sound. All right, so let's do our breathing now. So we'll breathe in we'll start with 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The same thing we did last week, and I skipped one. I skipped number 6 last time, but I won't skip it this time. So we'll start with 5, breathing in for 5 beats, and then exhaling for 5, then breathing in for 6, exhaling for 6. Each time you breathe in, really focus on that deep, low, expansive breath. So really feel like all of your muscles are just kind of relaxing and opening. You've had a really great dinner, maybe, and just relax all of those muscles, right? So your belly muscles are relaxing, your sides, your back, everything is expanding. So feel like you're really filling up. We've talked about like filling up a water balloon, feeling your air go down and out. We've talked about Ming uses the sack of potatoes, right? If you drop it, the potatoes scatter like in all directions, right? So the air comes down and out. So focus on that sensation as we breathe in. Starting with 5, here we go. Ready? And breathe in. 2, 3, 4, and, oh, sorry, I said 5. One more time. Ready? And breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. All right. Now just take a nice big breath and just give a nice sigh just because we can. All right. And now using that kind of sigh space, we're going to do our vowel flow all on a kind of nice lifted sigh. So we'll go hey, hey, oh, oh, ooh. So the vowels are E, A, O, O, U. All giving a nice kind of relaxed sigh down, lifted yawn space. So as you breathe in, really breathe into the yawn. And then keep it engaged as you sigh out all of your vowels. Here we go. Ready? And. Excellent. Really nice lifted space. All right. Let's start singing now. So let's start with a hum. Nice lifted yawn space still. So that space we just found for that vowel flow. Keep that engaged and we'll sing. Keep it nice and light. yawns and sighs are great. Take a nice deep breath in on a yawn and give a nice sigh out, maybe a little bit higher than you went last time. Here we go. Big yawn space and. And next we'll sing day. Now the thing about this word is day or day. We want the second one. If you heard the difference, the first one I kind of put a little glide between the two vowels where I said day. It almost sounds like I'm saying the word D-A-Y in English, day. But instead, when we see in our Latin the word D-E-I, day, we want two separate vowels. So we're going to practice that together. And the second vowel will go on the very last note. So day. And make the change to the vowel as immediate as you can so that there's no extra glide sound in between. Let's try that. Ready? And go. Excellent. Nicely done. We'll keep going. See if you can put a little bit more of a D sound on the beginning so it doesn't just sound like A, but D. Let's try it. Ready? And go. Great. Excellent. We'll keep going a couple of more. Nicely done. Now see if you're doing a great job isolating the two vowels from each other. Now see if you can round both of them. It's hard to see with the microphone in my face, but if you were to look on Zoom right now, I'll kind of do a halfsies with my microphone here. Instead of day. Instead of smiling through it, I know we're all happy to be singing together and hearing our voices, but see if you can round that space. Day. Let's try that. Here we go. Ready? And go. Great. One more. Excellent. And we'll do another similar one. We'll sing A-ah. The A vowel feels and lives really forward in our placement. So everyone go A and just feel how nasal that is. Go. A. And now go oh and try to keep it in that same spot. Go. Oh. Exactly. Nicely done. So when we sing A, oh, you want the ah to live in the same place, same direction, same forward movement there with that placement. Here we go. Ready? And. Nicely done on the vowel placement, and it's very forward. The ah is very forward and rounded at the same time. Excellent. Rounded meaning you're finding that yawn space with that lifted soft palate in the back of your mouth at the same time. Now, see if the jump up to that higher note can be a little bit more precise, and there's a little less gliding instead of a. Same thing here with the vowels, right? So we don't want a yaw with a y sound, but a. See if you can make the switch between the two vowels almost immediate. Ready, and. Excellent. All right. I see some comments on Zoom about popping and crackling. It might be my piano, and I apologize about that. I'll see if I can fix the connection for next week. But as always, this is a new experiment, right, that we're having a lot of fun with hearing each other sing. So there might be a couple of things that we are still working out a little bit. So patience is appreciated. Thank you. Okay, let's now do a new exercise. Let's see if I can remember what I wrote down from my notes I have here. We're going to sing Midnight Darkness. Midnight Darkness. The first half on the word midnight is legato. Midnight. And then the second half is staccato. Darkness. Darkness. Notice how I'm adding kind of an H sound on all of the darkness to add and help with that kind of diaphragm engagement there. Let's try that a little bit slower and just sing it together once. Midnight Darkness. Ready? And go. Excellent. Now, the goal for this exercise is to be very, very, very aware of our vowels each time. So the word midnight, I, has a lot of more glidey sounds when we speak it, right? But we want to stay open on the ah vowel as opposed to closing to the E. So when we sing midnight, instead of night, night, stay open on the ah all the way down, and then darkness, the ah of darkness. Try not to close to the R, but stay open on the ah. So one more time, staying open on the ah for both of those. Midnight darkness. Try that. Ready? And go. Great. Excellent. I know that one got a little high there. Let's try that last one more time and really see if you can use your breath that we were kind of finding and focusing earlier. And use your breath to help support you as you go up higher. At the same time, make even more lift in the back of your mouth. So instead of midnight, see if you can lift that space. Midnight darkness. And at the same time, as you get higher, consonants are always harder the higher you go, but that's okay. The focus of this exercise is the vowels anyway. So really make sure that you're staying nice and open, tall on all of those vowels. Let's do that one more time. Same spot. Mid is the first note. And go. Excellent. Let's try that one more time. See if we can stay together so that tempo is midnight darkness. Let's try that. And go. There it is. Nicely done. Okay, now let's sing. We'll sing a new exercise here. We'll just sing on the syllable D, and we'll sing D, 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 D. So we're starting on this starting note, going up a whole step, back to that same note, down a whole step, back to that same middle note, up a half step, middle note again, down a half step, back to that middle note again. So one more time all together. D, 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 D. So just to be very, very careful and precise about the placement of where you're stepping whole steps and when you have half steps, one being larger than the other. So very precise. Let's actually take it a little bit slower than that. So we'll go D, 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 D. So that'll be on our new tempo. Ready, and go. Excellent. Nicely done. Let's now start up here and see if without any other context we can find those whole steps and half steps. Ready, and go. Nicely done. And let's do one more up here. Ready and go. Excellent. Let's do that last one more time. The last half step felt a little bit low. We want it to be a little bit closer to that middle note. So when you go, really, chromatics always feel really slippery to me. It's almost like you're hugging that note a little bit more than you want to. You don't want to let that first note go. Really, really small step. Let's try that one more time, that last one. Starting with the whole step, so the whole thing. Ready, and go. Oh, I'm sorry. I said starting with the whole steps, and we sing a half step. Ready, and go. There we go. Excellent. Nicely done. All right, now everyone take a nice deep breath, and let's do a yawn together from the middle of our range up top and then back down. Here we go. Ready, and... Okay, and with that concludes our warm-up. So if you are standing, thank you. You may be seated, and Ming, I will pass it back over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julia. Let's do a warm-up on darkness and destruction.
And it's always in a nice major key, too.
Of course, pandemic and... Any case, that was great. Wonderful, wonderful warm-up, as always. Okay, so we are going to look at Ballad to the Moon by a very youthful Daniel Elder, who has not... Wait, no, he has turned 30, right? So he is 36, No, 34. A very young composer. But let's look at this. And last week, as you know, we read through the poem, "The moonlit night I wander free, my mind roam on thoughts of thee." Very romantic, very evocative. And the music, I love when composers nowadays have wonderful tempo markings. It's not just allegro, adagio, but this is adagio misterioso. So let's go through this. And what I would love to do is do what I call the stumble through. And we haven't spent much time on this, but I would love to just sing this on new. So no words yet, especially for something that has such clear, wonderful poetry. But let's just try to go through. And even if you don't quite get the notes yet, again, most of you are on Zoom, but this is a time to do our stumble through and just try to get a feel for the work. I'm going to be playing along. No, wait! We are on Jack Trip. So I'd like to reintroduce, for the 9th time this semester, Paul. And why don't we have Paul play, since we are connected with him, and I will conduct and see if it's possible to actually jointly highlight Paul as well. Voiced Paul. Où est Paul? Oh, I see. Je le vois maintenant. Ajouter. Voilà. Okay, so everybody. Oh, Paul has... That's
Yes,
fantastic. So he
yes.
can be looking straight directly
Exactly.
into all of your dark hearts, as Julia said. Okay, so we are going to, I guess it's the darkness of the night. How about that? Let's do that. So let's do Ballad to the Moon. I'm going to be conducting. And Paul, if you don't mind playing, the choral works when it's a cappella. But we will sing through on new and see how it goes. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. On new. I know the poetry is beautiful, but sing it on new for now. On new. And 1. That's it. Soprano saltos. Open up. Nice. Altos. Beautiful. And Paul. And 1, 2. No. I think we skipped a beat there. Let's go back to bar 22, right on the downbeat of bar 22. Here we go. Paul, do you mind giving them their E and their B for the soprano altos? And it's tenors and basses. No. All right, here we go. The downbeat of bar 22. And 1, 2. No. You know what's going on? Now, this is the beautiful part of Jack Tripp, like we're actually live in person. Paul is playing the music in the piano, which is very similar to the melody a beat later. So sopranos, you have to know, and altos too, that Paul is playing your music before you. So if you get dragged along with Paul, then you're coming in a little too early. So just be confident that we're going to sing 1, 2, no, no matter what you hear from Paul, because Paul is tricky. Here we go. Here you go. One more time. And downbeat is right here. 1, 2. No. That's it. Nice. Now crescendo and sopranos. That's it. That's it. And no. And off. That's it. Crescendo to this downbeat. And then diminuendo to the tenors and basses line right here now. And sopranos. And 1 and 2. Two, 3, 1. Tenors. That's it. Nice. Breath. Don't slow down. One. Bases. And. Yeah, not too slow. And 1. Beautiful chord. Nice. Nice. And go. End. End. Sopranos. And end. And fermata, wait. 2 and 3. End. Everybody unison. Off. Not too slow. Nicely done. Now the reason why we do new when we sing through pieces like this is that when we have a lot of syllables, the tendency is to sort of chop up the line. From the very beginning, page 3, the very beginning on bar 5, the tendency is to go, on moonlit night I wander free, instead of trying to connect it. So new is a little softer of an attack. It's a little bit of a softer of a syllable to be able to go, new, 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 new. So we have that crescendo and decrescendo that is more connected. So can you all try to sing your notes? Tenors, new basses, sopranos, and altos. And what I want you to do is sing on new, but I want you to focus on it being connected with a crescendo and a decrescendo. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Now, do you see, that is a completely different feeling. And so it's the natural characteristics of new to create that sort of subtle phrasing. Now, some of you crescendoed like this. Ooh, no, 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 no. Right? And I want you to be a little bit more contemplative. You remember the scene, you're outside. It is not a cold, not a hot, but a summer night, let's say. And it is, because it's in June, right? You want to feel like you're surrounded by darkness and the night and the stars and the moon. And so I want you to think a little bit more contemplatively, and that means with crescendo, decrescendo, it's a little more subtle. No, 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 no. So with conductors and musicians of all sorts, when you see a crescendo, decrescendo, the biggest question you have to ask is, where are we going? You know, you start piano, you could go to forte, you could go to mezzo piano. You have to decide. So based on the poetry, let's try a contemplative minor crescendo, decrescendo, but very legato. Here we go again. Tenors, tenors, basses, sopranos. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Excellent. Now that is beautiful. Now I hear that some of you, rightly so, don't change your notes. Some of you do change your notes. So the altos and tenors don't change your notes. But if you're a bass or soprano, you have to know, oh, they're not going to change with us. So don't be confused by them. Just sing your notes directly. And the other thing that often happens is that when you have a dotted rhythm, sometimes people take a little break right there. No, 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 no. And you don't want to sort of break that legato there either, especially in the middle of the word. Wander-free, wander-free. So let's do it one more time. Still on new. And I want you to still get that legato. I still want you to get the minor crescendo, decrescendo. And then, again, putting yourself in the scene. So if you're in the middle of the night with the moon shining by yourself, what type of crescendo, decrescendo might you have? Very, very contemplative and introspective. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. That's it. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't exactly together, but the sentiment was exactly there. Now, let's do the next one, which is slightly different, but also longer. So listen for a second. Not only the tenors have a different note, but the line continues on. Right? So let's just read that, starting from bar 9. Maybe, Paul, why don't you start playing from bar 7, and then we'll come in all together on bar 9. Okay, still on new, but sopranos, note that your line continues, and also tenors, remember that you have a different note to start on. Here we go. Paul, lead us in with bar 7, 2, and 3, and. Yeah, that's a good tempo. And here we go. Good tenors. Sopranos. Three. Good. Let's stop there. That's excellent. So the difference is, for instance, sopranos. No, 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 no. Crescendo. No, 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 no. So in the first line, we have a decrescendo. But as soon as you get to wander free, my mind to roam, alto, same thing. We have to tell the audience that there's something very different happening here. We have to tell with the tenors and basses that we're crescendoing through the word free. So let's try that again. Paul, do you mind playing our beginning notes for bar 9?
Here we go.
And this time, I want you to have in your mind the idea of the long phrase. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and go. Nice. And crescendo. That's it. That's it. And so we have in this, on moonlit night, I wander free. But the second line, on moonlit night, I wander free, my mind to roam on thoughts of thee. It's a continuation of the line. So let's just hear the sopranos and altos. But I want to hear when you sing together, and I want to hear when you don't sing together. Paul, let's start from bar 9. Sopranos and altos, you start unison together. Here's your E. 1, and sopranos, altos, and go. And continue. That's it. And so it's good to know when you have notes that are going to clash a little bit. Like bar 10, wander free for the sopranos, altos, wander free. And then most notably, bar 11 for the altos, my mind to roam on thoughts of. It clashes against the sopranos. So you're not going to sing my mind, it's my mind to roam, and it clashes with the sopranos A natural. So that's going to sound like a clash, but you just have to be strong in your notes. Now let's try the tenors and basses. Nice parallel fifths there. That's technically wrong part writing, but let's try that there. Tenors and basses, here are your notes again. And then Paul's going to play with you. Bar 9, 2 and 3, and breathe. Crescendo, and 1. Excellent. Beautiful. Really nice open fifth at the end too. So let's do this from the beginning. And what we want to do is really have an idea of the text. On moonlit night, I wander free. On moonlit night, I wander free, my mind to roam on thoughts of thee. So 2 very different lines. Paul, let's start from bar 1. Adagio misterioso. Here we go. 2 and 3 and 1. Not too slow. And everybody, 1 new. Beautiful. Excellent. Don't sing with the piano. That's Paul's solo. And 1. Sopranos. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice intonation too. Altos. This is your melody. Take the shine. Excellent. Great. Let's stop there. Altos. So the danger in bar 17 is that we really treat this as sort of 2 voices. The low note and then everything else. No, 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 no. And what I want you to do is sort of bridge the gap in between them. I want you to think it like a sort of not lighter, but I want you to think of the high notes as a little bit richer. I want to think of the low notes as sort of slightly indulgent, but not too strong. No, 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 no. As if it's a lullaby, and it has a sweetness to it. Why don't we all become altos and all sing this line together, starting on bar 17 on new. And again, I want you, the technical thing we're trying to do is not change our head voice versus chest voice too much. So not no, 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 but make everything dolce and what we call cantabile, like it's really sung. Right, here we go. Here, starting from bar 17, just alto line, but everybody can sing. 1 and 2 and 3. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly it. That's it. That's really, really beautiful. Now let's work backwards. Bar 13. No, 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 no. There's a danger in making the triplet too quick. No, 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 no. You have to make sure it's a no, 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 no. And ideally, we want to make sure that there's no break between anything. So sopranos and altos, bar 14. Can you put a little slur between beckoning, or ing of beckoning, and my? So what we don't want to hear is, with midnight darkness beckoning, my heart, my heart in mystic fantasy. So we're not going to take a breath on bar 15 between heart and my heart. We're not going to take a breath in bar 14 between beckoning and my. You can take a breath at other places because it kind of is a long line. But we want to make sure that we maintain that beautiful lyrical melody. Okay? Paul, do you mind leading us in? Why don't we actually start from pick up to bar 13? Can you play along with them, plus the instrumental parts too? And then again, feel free, tenors and basses, to sing along too, because this is a good exercise in what we do in choruses. And in choruses, sometimes we catch breaths somewhere, sometimes we take a breath other places, because we have so many people. As long as we don't breathe in the places that we can't breathe, then we can all make it work. Okay, so I'm going to give 1 and 2 and 3, and then we'll come in. Sopranos and alto line, pick up to bar 13, with midnight darkness, and we're going to still sing it on new, right? 1 and 2 and 3. Nice, no breath. Excellent, no breath here. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We can take that and, as we say, we can record that. That was an excellent version. So make sure, again, in your music that you put a little slur on it. It's just your reminder not to breathe. It's really, really beautiful there. Okay? Now, we have quite a bit of this music musically in. I want to, instead of going forward, which to look at notes, I actually want to go backwards and add some of the text. So let's go to bar 5. On moonlit night I wander free. So there's a couple words here that I want you to feel like are more open. On, I don't want you to sing on, I want you to sing on, A-H-N. Moonlit, and then night, I want you to sing night. And then same as I want you to sing ah. I don't know if you can see I can't see my mouth because all of a sudden I'm in the dark. Hold on a second. I'm in the darkness.
Yes, you are.
Darkness.
Darkness.
Zooming darkness. Oh yeah, now you can see. Okay. So, on moonlit night I wander free. So night, I, wa, and then on. So on, night, I, wa. All those words should have a very open vowel. On moonlit night I wander free. And remember, we don't sing the word wander, we sing the wanda, da, D-U-H, nice schwa. Okay? So you should be writing ah, oo, I, e. Okay? Now, this is hard exercise and took me a long time to be able to do this, but many voice teachers will have you sing it only on the vowels, right? Ha, nu, I, ha, 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 he. Right? Let's try that. On your notes. G, G, C sharp, B. Isn't that? Why are there so many? Okay. Songs about darkness. Okay. On moonlit night, I wander free. Here we go. 1 and 2 on text and 1. That was brilliant because about 90% of you sang it on the vowels and 10% of you added consonants for a little bit. And it was the perfect ratio. That's exactly how it really should be. On moonlit night I wander free. Remember we talked about how symphonic symphonic chorus music and chamber chorus is very different. Chamber chorus, oftentimes you're actually not necessarily de-emphasizing the consonants, but the line is much more important because you have fewer people. So it's the same thing here. Let's try this actually with the consonants. Those vowel exercise was excellent. And I'd want you to de-emphasize the consonants so as if you're just gently adding a tiny bit of them, but not sort of what we call chewing the words. On moonlit night I wander free. Making the vowels much more important than the consonants. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and... Yeah, that's beautiful. That's exactly it. Now, it was because we were a little tentative. It became a little zombie-ish. On moonlit night I wander free. But it was really the beautiful vowels. The line in the legato was there. It just became a little slow and lethargic. But that was excellent every other way. Now, I want you to do the same thing and know that technically you're connecting everything. Know technically that you are sort of, as a result of connecting everything, de-emphasizing the vowels, but as a result of the intention, push through the line a little bit. On moonlit night I wander free. Right? Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. That's it. That was beautiful. That was exactly it. That was fantastic. The one tiny, tiny note is the wander free. You don't want any R in it because it did sound a little bit like on moonlit night I wander free, right? It got a little R into it. You don't want too much of the R into it. We're not pirates. And so you want to make sure it's wanda. Wanda. Isn't that a TV show? WandaVision? That's what it is. Disney Plus, right? WandaVision. In any case, Wanda is how you should pronounce it, like the name Wanda. Okay? Now, let's do the next one. My mind to roam on thoughts of thee. That's easier, but you do get to practice on bar 9 and 10. Again, those same text. So, Paul, if you can give us our notes for bar 9. Yeah, the tenor note is different. Right? Here we go. 1 and on text. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Not bad, not bad. I heard a lot of the same legato sentiments. I heard a lot of those good vowels. The timing together was a little bit wandering and a little bit free. We want to make sure that we get the timing together. But again, the sentiment is there, which is much more important. Let's try it one more time. All right. Ma, like a good la. And the sopranos and the altos. And I'm going to click along, or I'm going to conduct along. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Now remember, the is what we call a voice consonant. Can everybody say the? Yeah. Don't make it percussive. If I make it percussive and short, it sounds like this. The. But I want you to indulge in the consonant the. Try that. That's it. That's it. So, my mind to roam on thoughts of thee. You can actually sing on that consonant. The. Make sure that you don't rob that note. Okay? Now, look at the dynamics. Bar 9, 10, 11, 12. On moonlit night I wander free. And then we have a crescendo and a decrescendo. But this time, Daniel Elder gives us the dynamic that we go to. Mezzo forte. And that's quite a bit far away from piano, right? On moonlit night I wander free, my mind to roam on thoughts of thee. So let your dynamic roam. Let's try that again. Bar 9. Paul with the notes. La. Make sure the tenors have a good la. On moonlit night. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Beautiful tenors. Nice. Crescendo. Go on. 2 and 3. Nice. Tenors and basses. Altos. Yes, good. So remember sopranos, tenors, and basses on bar 21 to stop singing. And the biggest reason for that is that Paul gets a little mini solo here. And it is notes that will clash against your B. But before that, I don't want you to think of your line as sort of static notes that don't do anything, because you're singing the words come and dream. Come and dream. I want it to be in the background, but with intention. So again, no zombie singing, no sort of lifeless singing, with intention, even though the lines are, the notes are long, okay? That's excellent. Bar 13, I want to applaud everybody that sang the word darkness. Julia's warm-up very clearly helped us make sure we didn't sing darkness, but darkness. And it's excellent. With midnight darkness. But then you sing beckoning. 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 Not beckoning. Beckoning. Everything open. And again, even though it sounds weird when I have to say beckoning, it sounds very open and not really like a word. When you sing it, it's vocal and we're going to hear the word beckoning. So don't close too much on that. And the same thing. Darkness, my heart. My heart, what mystic fantasy. Not fantasy, but fantasy. Everybody say, you know, what is that? Isn't that a commercial? Fanta, Fanta. Don't you want the Fanta, Fanta? You know, it's like that orange soda, right? So I want you to think like that. Fantasy. Everybody say that. Fantasy. Oh, I heard it. I heard you're like so good intention and you just chanted fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. Yeah, it's hard. So the reason why it's hard is because in English, when you have a syllable that's what we call unaccented, it's not stressed, we speak and sing schwas. And so fantasy is a natural schwa, but you have to counter that. So you actually have to write that in as fantasy, not fa-ta-si. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to counter that natural inclination that we have. Okay, let's sing that again. Let's speak that again. Fantasy. Fantasy. That's it. That's it. And it didn't sound like you were robots. It didn't sound like you were zombies. It just sounded like you were saying the word fantasy. It just happens to be that we're changing that, we're, quote, modifying that vowel. So, again, as we've said every single time we've done a piece that has English as its language, because we speak English, we think that singing it is going to be really easy. And as a result, it makes it really hard. Hard instead of hard. And so things like darkness and hot, those are the things that change how we sing English to be sung, right? How we make English a sung language. And those are things that we have to counter, those schwas that naturally occur when we don't have an emphasized beat, and R's, getting rid of all those things. So it becomes a little bit deliberate, but it makes it really beautiful when we get it. And what's really nice is even in the short time, we've done a lot of detail work, but you're getting the sort of legato line to it. You're getting that introspection. You're getting the precision in terms of how loud or soft we're getting. But most important, I think that the poetry is coming across even as we start modifying these vowels to be sung vowels versus spoken vowels. So with that, we're going to take a break. After break, we're going to go off to sectionals on both pieces. So not only the elder, but also the bray as well. And then we'll come back at the end to look at the bray a little bit more. But let's take a break right now for whatever we normally do. Let's do 6 minutes, so we come back at 8:10, and then we'll go back into sectionals after that. But let's take a break for 6 minutes. Okay.
Hello, Jack Trippers. Hi. We have to move, but no, it's Jack Trip. Should we stay on Jack Trip? I guess so.
Yes. Yes.
Then yes.
Can you
We
yes.
stay on Jack Trip for the
stay on
entire
Jack Trip?
rehearsal.
Yes.
You
We
just
can
And
just
you
chat
can
with
be
it.
heard by
and
everyone
switch
else.
to Lisa's server.
Jack Trip can be heard by everyone else all through
switch
this.
servers now, or wait until
What
after break?
server are all
Your
of you
choice.
using for the Jack Trip? Which server is it?
Up to now, it's been BCCO David Test.
Oh, I don't see that. Thank you.
Lisa, I think I have more wires than I need. I have this, I have this, I have this,
Yeah.
I have this, of course this.
Looking good.
I think I'll have everything.
Headphones with no microphone in them.
Got my headphones without a microphone,
Super.
and then I have this giant thing. So
Awesome. That's a Blue Yeti.
it's a Blue Yeti, and I also have a really long Ethernet cord. I'm in my dining space, and
Cool.
I don't care. I don't really entertain
Well,
here.
Brave thee. I'm so glad you're willing to try it, and it should be fun.
I'm excited. It's such a game changer.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear how that works for you, Karen.
Who said that?
Win.
Win-win.
Do you go by Win or Winthrop?
I usually go by Win.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Who would want a winning name like that?
People, Win, are you the Jack Trip technical expert or
I
one of
am
them?
not.
No, no.
I,
I guess JT David Fleck is?
Yes, he's the head honcho.
Okay, all right.
I've done real-time robotics, but I haven't done real-time audio.
Well, I'm reading something right now from Jack Tripp, the help thing. Win, could you comment on this if you have a minute?
Go ahead.
It says that Virtual Studio also offers fully managed audio services using cloud providers. Does that mean they provide internet? It says these managed cloud audio servers are available free through the end of June 2021. Beginning July, we will charge using metered monthly subscription plans. Does that sound like they provide internet? Is that what they provide?
No, it's just the server we're using tonight is exactly what they're describing.
Okay.
It's a possible game changer as a speech pathologist with some of the work I do in the schools, because if I have a distance learning child and I want to do something with them auditorily at the same time, it could actually work for me for that reason. So maybe I should write off this purchase.
But it's really
You should contact Deborah Galata. You know Deborah, who
I remember her.
Berkeley Women's Community Chorus, and she's doing all of her music teaching over Jack Tripp now, and using this very effectively. So you could get a lot of very valuable information from her.
I didn't want to spend that kind of money, though. I mean, it's really expensive, Jack Trip. I just didn't want to spend the money for it.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But it's
Well,
now this is giving us a chance to.
Time I'm going to be basically out of luck and just out of sync with everybody else. So I'm kind of worried about that.
No, don't worry about it. We're all singing. I'm not, this is Lisa Nelbach. I'm one of the Jack Tripp group, but I'm not using it tonight because I'm in Los Angeles and it's a little bit too delayed from where I am. So
I know I'm getting a lot of
this is
feedback.
great. I'm getting to sing with everybody else's voices. It sounds super.
I think Rebecca from the Vallejo Choral Society, I think she's also quite knowledgeable about Jack Tripp.
I mean, I'd probably go with it if I didn't have to spend all that money on it. It's too expensive.
So in terms of the synchronicity, like I'm across the bay, that's not enough to.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Delay. Okay.
No, but I'm 400 miles away.
That is.
The speed of light, that makes a significant difference.
don't worry, Eileen, you're not alone.
Well, I just don't like to be out of sync with people, because what happens is eventually everybody moves on and we get left behind.
Can we hear each other? I don't know. I think it's.
I can hear you, Ellen.
Yeah.
We won't let you get lost,
But
Aline.
are we?
We want you in on everything with us.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Ellen,
I think there are still a minority of people are on.
I have an extra pair of, I'm not. I have an extra pair of these. I'm very happy to share this. I mean, not this one, but my extra pair.
Of what?
Headphones? Don't ask me why 2 arrived. I didn't pay attention when I was on Amazon. And I'd rather give it away to somebody in the choir that, may need them. So message me.
Can I pay for it? Can I pay for it?
I'm happy to just give these away.
Just send it to me. I pay you the amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll type my email in the chat, and you can.
Yeah. Okay.
We are back. We're a minute late. It is 8:11, And so what I'd love to do is go off into sectionals. And sectionals are going to be interesting because Paul is going to lead the tenors and basses. Julia is going to lead the sopranos and altos. But we're actually going to continue with the jack trip. So those other sopranos and altos will be working with Julia, and those that have jack trip will be, audible and heard. So we continue again mimicking a real in-person rehearsal. Same thing with Paul and the tenor basses. I'm going to be switching back and forth, so even though I won't be seeing, I'm just curious how it's going to go. Why don't we do a good half an hour? Because again, Paul and Julia, would be great to actually go through some of the notes of the rest, obviously, of the Daniel Elder, but also Charlotte Bray too. I wouldn't worry about too much about the words at this point too, because that tends to be a little bit deliberate and whatnot. But I think it'd be nice for people just to get through singing, and singing notes and the indulgent harmonies of So, again, starting from the Agnus Dei, Charlotte Bray, page 7, bar 39. 39. We start all in unison, and then it starts getting crazier and crazier, louder and further apart until we end in the sort of kaleidoscope of notes. So let's start with bar 39. And feel free to sing on text because these text is not that hard. Agnus Dei. And Paul, I'm going to play along just because the music's so simple at this point.
Sure.
But let's start from bar 39. Here we go. And again, we have soprano 1, soprano 2, alto, tenor 1, tenor 2, and bass. But we also have a solo soprano. And because this is a Zoom and virtual, feel free to sing whatever you want. If you want to sing the soprano 1 part and then switch to the soprano solo, we can have many soli singers as we want. But let's start from bar 39. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Agnus Dei. Off. Sopranos, altos, tenor basses, and everybody. 2, 3, soprano ones. Off, everybody else. And then here we go. One, and then the big chord. Here we go. And 1. Yeah. let's go back. So for the very beginning, this is not subtle. This is not like the Daniel Elder, right? And so we've heard several different Agnus Deis. Some say very peacefully, Agnus Dei, Lamb of God, who taketh away the sins of the world, grant us peace. But this, we have a piano to mezzo forte in one bar. And so we have other Agnus Deis that are more insistent. They say, Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, dona nobis pacem. Lamb of God, who taketh away the sins of the world, grant us peace. As if you were coming from a place of just need, desire, like looking for salvation. And so to me, this crescendo needs to be much more apparent. So I'll start again from bar 39. Instead of going, Agnus Dei, let's turn it to Agnus Dei, and make the crescendo have some impetus behind it, have some intention behind it. So tenors, twos, and basses, Agnus Dei, sopranos, Agnus Dei, and everybody else stays on the same note. Let's try again. 39. Page 7 of the Charlotte Bray, Agnus Dei, bar 39. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, piano. 1. Now crescendo. Decrescendo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Off. And 2, 3. Soprano once. And then off, everybody. Not bad at all. That was excellent. The key thing that I heard was I heard a lot of news, as if we were literally chewing a bagel, right? And you want to make sure that that vowel stays as long as possible. Agnus Dei, so that there's less of that sort of glide between the vowels and the syllables, and more purity of vowels. So you're going to crescendo on your ah, and not on your whatever you're singing. Okay? Let's try that again. Now, last thing I'll say before we sing it again is make sure you don't also do the same thing for a news. Don't go Agnus Dei, because then you don't crescendo anymore. Here, let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crescendo. Excellent. Soprano solo. And off. Crescendo. And soprano once. And off. Excellent. That was excellent. Now, the reason why I want to stop there is make very clear where your notes are for this next part. And so, for the tenor, twos, and basses, even though the B flat looks like it's very foreign in this piece, and it really is one half step down. So you have a relatively easy transition. Tenor ones, you have the same note. It's actually a very easy transition. However, the altos and the second sopranos have to leap, and they go to a second away. So they go from their notes to this. It's very much chopsticks. Right? But the part that's hard is that when you sing it against each other, it's actually quite hard. So sopranos and altos, when you have Agnus Dei, and then soprano twos go, and the alto goes one note below that. To me, even though the A clashes against the tenor twos and the basses, for me, for some reason, the A is easier to hear. And so if I were an alto, I'd be hearing the A in my head before we get to that note and then dropping down a full step. However, if it's easier for you to hear the G, dum, ba, ah, then you can think a major fourth, or sorry, perfect fourth above the D to the G. So let's do this. Let's make it interesting. What I'd love to do is start from bar 42, second half of the bar. And what I want to do is sing it once with tenors and basses and altos only, then sing it with tenors and basses plus soprano twos only, and then we'll put it all together. So the first time will sound like this. And then only altos, you get a G minor chord. That sounds okay. And then the second time, and then we'll hear this. Soprano twos, but no altos. And then we'll try it all together. So let's try this together. Bar 41-2. Bar 42, second half of the bar. So we're going to start on the soprano altos D, or your ah. And then tenors and basses are going to come in one beat after that. But sorry, no sopranos because it's only altos. So altos, tenors, and basses starting bar 42, second half of the bar. I'll give you 1, 2, then we sing. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, off. And then here we go. End. Yeah, I can hear you quite well. And obviously I was playing your notes for you, but it felt really nice and secure. Let's do the same thing, but this time no altos, but we will include the sopranos. Soprano 2, and feel free soprano 1 to sing too, even though obviously yours is a very, very different texture on top of it. Bar 42, second half of the bar, for the sopranos plus the tenors and basses. Starting on beat 3, again, I will give you 1, 2 in. Here we go. 1, 2, sopranos, tenors, basses. 2, soprano 1s. Off. And here we go. Excellent. Excellent. No, that was excellent. That was fantastic. The same thing like I just said for the voices that sang before, altos plus tenors and basses. Even though I was playing your notes, it really felt like you were coming in, not after I played the notes, but with it. And it sounded quite nice. Let's try it all together. Starting from bar 42, second half of the bar on Agnus Dei. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 separate voice parts. Okay. And 1, 2. 2 soprano 1s. 1, 2, 3, off. And here we go right now. You know what? I can hear the 7 voice parts. That was really nice. It was a little bit of searching to find the notes, oddly from tenors and basses as well as sopranos and altos. But by the time we got to the middle of that crazy line on bar 47, like the middle of that bar, it seemed to come together really nicely. Now, everybody mark in your part, bar 48. At the end of the bar, I want you to take a breath. Agnus Dei, qui to, and then whatever your rhythm is, whether it's all straight chord notes or the dotted rhythm that the sopranos and tenor 2s have. I want us all to take a breath before qui tollis peccata mundi. Okay? And then the same thing for bar 51 at the very end of the bar. As it's notated, we will take a breath. But I want you to note on bar 51, write in on bar 51 that it is still fortissimo. You can just write in FF, or you can do it the fancy music way of saying sempre fortissimo. You can be fancy Italians. Sempre fortissimo. Okay? So this is a very evocative piece. It is very atmospheric piece. And it is, I think, a piece that is actually going to be really fun to sing because of how your voice part fits in with everybody else, whether it's clashing, whether it's following it in canon or whatever. And it's a wonderful piece. So this, I say in the last 30 seconds or so that we have a rehearsal, is our slow experiment to try Jack Trip in sectionals. And I was bopping around both sectionals. And then because of the way Jack Trip is, I could see servers of people around the Bay Area or the world. I have no clue. And I just popped into theirs just to say, oh, there's apparently some chorus rehearsing in Belgium, but isn't it like 6 o'clock in the morning there? Oh, okay, that's a little odd. But it's a lot of fun. And as we notated last week, and I hope you notated this week too, there's something very different about having real-time feedback, even if you're in the Zoom world. By hearing other voices around us, the structure of the rehearsal is very different. It's just very different. And so as we get Jack Trip more incorporated, as we have more people that can sing and have their voices join the whole that we all hear together, I think it is sort of a really nice transition towards the time where we can all sing together. So again, thank you very much to the Virtual Music Committee and everybody that's putting so many hours and time and effort into making that happen. But also to Julie and Paul for leading great rehearsals for gentlemen and anybody. Not gentlemen, not gentle, people, not people. Everybody involved. So have a wonderful week. We will see you next week. And remember that next week is with our guest composer, Sam Wu, who is writing a piece specifically for BCCO. And from first looks of it, it's going to be a lot of fun to dive into. And what I'd love to do is for us to take an analytical look at this and sort of do what conductors do, which is when you see a piece for the first time, how do you say, what is this thing in front of me? Let me try to make sense of it. And it'd be really fun to explore that all together. So have a great week. We will see you next time. Thank you, Julie and Paul, and the Virtual Music Committee, and everybody, all of you. And we will see you next week. Feel free to unmute and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Julia, Paul.
Bye.
Thank you. It was
Bye.
great.
Thank you.
Yes, all the Jack Trip people, please remember to disconnect from the Jack Trip server.
Is someone actually in Belgium? Or am I just gullible?
No, there are servers in Belgium.
Oh.
But it takes a long time for our signal to get there and back.
Oh, I get it. I will believe anything. I fall for anything. I thought, my goodness, who's already